Jason. Come on.
See, my finger is on.
There we go.
I had to start talking. Apparently, it's voice activated with the finger. Apparently, the person pushing it has to
use
talk
your voice and your finger.
Push the button.
That's actually new technology. Yeah. Welcome to the Banter, everybody. Today's episode of the Banter is brought to you by Manscaped. This episode is brought to you by the spring cleaning champions, Manscaped. They're the spring cleaning champs. Use the Manscaped Lawnmower 5.0 and watch your confidence bloom like the springtime flowers. Embrace the season and join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our special offer. Go to manscaped.com and use code BANTER20 for 20% off plus free shipping. Here's the thing. After using Manscaped, I can finally say I've caught the spring fever. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Introducing the season's champ, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Their 5th generation trimmer features 2 interchangeable next-gen skin-safe blade heads, a standard one for taking a little off the top, and a new foil blade to go smooth wherever your heart desires. It also features dual LED spotlights to guide you through the darkest winter debris. Navigate with confidence in your delicate areas. Hate making a mess? Not to worry. This bad boy is waterproof. Shave in the shower, the bath, or in the ocean. That would be a move.
Yeah. Salt water.
The salt water, though, I wonder how. Hey, they said that you could.
Yeah, they said it. They said it.
So.
Yeah. And hey, spring cleaning doesn't just apply to the nether regions. Get a full grooming experience with Manscaped's signature Beard Hedger Pro Kit plus Handyman Electric Face Shaver.
And you can use it in America as well.
That's right.
Not just the Netherlands.
That's right. Whether you're looking to craft your signature look or clean up that neckline, these are always the right tools for the job. So get 20% off plus free shipping with code BANTER20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with code BANTER20 at manscaped.com. There you go. Get that spring cleaning going. Manscaped, they rock.
We've had like a spring regression here in Lynchburg, it feels like. There was like a week where it really felt like we were jumping into springtime.
Yeah.
Sprinting full speed in the spring.
We had a week that was a little silly. It was like borderline summer, but I will say,
wonderful.
You know, we had a little bit of a cold front, but tomorrow it warms up a little bit, 61, and then we get 67, 71, 77 on Easter Sunday.
Yep.
Hallelujah,
wow.
I'll say. And then 74 on Monday. Next week, it cools down a little bit again with some rain, but not as much as this week. I think the kicker was this week we saw low temps that were like 30, 32 in the morning, and that was like what punched us in the face a little bit, but we're getting there. Listen, spring in Virginia compared to spring in Pennsylvania rocks. Because spring, if this little regression we would had this week would be, oh, you have baseball tryouts next week, but the field just got covered in a foot of snow. Gonna have to wait for that to melt. Like that's the Pennsylvania, the classic spring move was to have a couple warm weeks and then snow right at the end of, like right at the beginning of April. Just like there's leaves on the trees and they just got coated in snow and now your tree branches are falling off.
That's crazy.
Like that's like classic Pennsylvania spring. So the transition seasons in this part of the country rock. The falls are awesome because you start to get cooler weather, but it just kind of stays like that. It doesn't ever really get that cold until like January. And then the spring, it warms up way quicker. It's like by the time you get into February, you're already getting days back in 60 degrees. You get a longer buffer before the summer weather comes in, and that rocks too. I love the transitional seasons. They're my favorite 2 seasons.
That's like the top thing that people say about like this area in Virginia is that they love the seasons.
Yeah,
I love it. Could never live where there is.
A lot of people move here because they want to see the seasons.
Well, because it's like Trevor says, very consistent. Like we've lived a lot of places, and in 2 different places, for sure. The joke is always like, "Oh, you like it? You like the warmth today? Just wait, 24 hours, it'll change." We don't have those drastic changes here. It's like nice gradual changes. Maybe it gets warm, then go cold again. But even in Florida or Alabama, oh, you like the weather? Just wait a day. It's going to change drastically.
That's kind of how it is
really
in Texas
here.
too.
Yeah,
Texas. I know Birdie's always talking about how it's ridiculous, and we've actually witnessed that firsthand, where it'll be like 70 degrees and then 40 degrees the next day.
Yeah.
But I will say the one thing about it, like spring sprung like real quick on me, and I'm not used to it still, is that like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I got to tune up the lawnmower. I got to start thinking about buying mulch.
Yep.
I got to I bought my house at the end of last summer, the very end of last summer. So like, I was cutting the grass, but it was kind of like, it was very easier for me to be like, I'm not going to do any outdoor maintenance until next year, because it's not really worth it at this point. And it snuck up on me because now it's like I want to do so many things to my outdoor area, and it's like I'm not even done doing things in the indoor area.
Yeah, I realized.
I'm gonna be doing this stuff till I'm ancient.
I realized the other day there's a tree branch that drips sap that's right over my driveway.
You've known that since last year.
That's not what I realized.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
I know you know about the branch. I was filling everybody else in.
Okay.
There's
I know
a
about
tree
sap
branch
branch. Shock wire.
that drips sap only on the car on the right side of the driveway. The left side of the driveway, unscathed.
Sticky zone.
I know that because one day I was borrowing my parents' car, and it was parked on the right side of the driveway, and I came outside, and I thought I had genuinely been pranked. Like, I thought that Hunter and Trevor were going to come around the corner.
It's like maple syrup.
And I was like, they know that this is, like, my dad's car. It'd be really weird for them to do this to my dad's car. It literally looked like they just dumped gallons of syrup on the car. And I was like, what the heck? And I waited. Nobody jumped out from behind the bushes. So
That's funny. I didn't know that.
yeah, and so I got in the car, started driving. I was like, I can't see, and I turned the windshield wipers, and I was like, now I really can't see. It was like an Instagram filter, and so then I found out that the tree branch above that spot was dripping sap, and then I was like, oh, I need to cut that tree branch down.
Sap is evil.
And then I looked it up because at the time it was like warm. It was like summer. It wasn't like summer. It was summer.
Yeah.
So I guess it was also like summer.
Yeah.
And it said that you can't prune trees, like cut branches off during those hot months because it'll kill the whole tree. And I was like, well, I don't want the tree to fall on my house.
Like, what defines a hot month? Just like summer?
Like the summer months.
Because I got
basically.
trees that are my front yard tree is encroaching on the power lines.
Yeah, I can't. It told me specifically what months, but it was the months I was in at that time.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I'll just wait until like winter time and go ahead and cut them. Well, winter's gone now.
Right.
And
Summer's not here yet.
I
though.
haven't cut.
You
it.
have a pole
I haven't
saw.
cut it. I know. I just haven't cut the branch.
Do it today.
Yeah, you have time.
I can't today.
Do it tomorrow.
I can't
The
tomorrow.
weather's gonna be
Weekend.
great this weekend. I mean, we just
Do
heard
it this
70s
weekend.
on Saturday.
Saturday.
I can't this weekend.
Saturday? You can't find
my family's in town
It
this
takes you
weekend.
20 minutes.
Your father
That's
probably
a,
like
that's a
doing it
fun
with you. It's a
activity.
family thing.
That is a fun. Dad,
My
you want
wife-
to go cut down this sap
Dude,
branch?
listen, every single time I am near my dad, we go straight into project mode and start fixing something.
There you go.
And I don't think that it's a healthy thing for the rest of my family.
But this is a real 10-minute fix.
Right.
You literally grab a saw, you turn it on. It's an electric saw. You turn it on. Zoop.
Yep.
That's that simple.
You're right, but
That's a 10-minute fix.
it's just not going to be, though.
What do you mean?
It's not going to be in the moment
Huh?
because we're going to find other things to do. I'll do it. I'm going to do it.
I don't believe you.
I'm just not going to do it this
I don't
week.
believe you. Promise me that you'll do it before the summer. And the summer starts May 1st. Promise me.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah.
You promise?
Why are you doing this to me?
I'm going to hold you accountable.
Oh, yeah. I'll do
You
it.
promise?
I promise.
We have video evidence now.
You just made
When
me
is
a
May
promise.
1st? What month is it? March? Oh, yeah.
You've got basically a month.
Yeah. Well, I got to get it done, so I'm going to do it.
You guys heard it here. Don't
Okay,
break your
all right.
promise to me.
Be sure to do weekly
'Cause
check-ins.
you already broke
I
a pinky
also
promise.
wanted to clear out the woods behind our house, too. That never happened.
Konner, dude, you have this. You have the
What?
tools.
Don't act disappointed in me.
I am.
There's things that you haven't done that you wanted to do.
You don't know anything about what I haven't done. No, you're not kidding. Most of so many things to do around my house.
It's called being a homeowner. You guys know it now. So
Yeah,
it's the life of.
no, I know it.
We've actually bought 2 brand new homes in our life, which was great. So we didn't have anything to do in the house. But now this house is an older house, so it's
My house was made.
little thing
during-
here, little
they,
thing
I think
there,
They
little
built
thing
my
here,
house
little thing there.
during Prohibition, so yeah, it's very old. There's a lot of things to do to it.
That tree in the front yard is pretty awesome, though. We were talking
Great
about that.
tree,
Like, that
though.
is
It's a great tree.
amazing.
Epic tree.
Those white leaves were
a great
just
tree.
It's all yeah. All the flowers are gone now. It's all leaves now.
all right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great climbing tree for the kids as they get older.
Unless I
'Cause
unless I prune it in the summer, then they're just gonna fall right out of it.
I did go for the first time. This is actually the day of our gender reveal. I went back in the woods. Well, my friend John was like, "You ever explored these woods back here?" And I was like, "I haven't walked out there yet because it's like the entrance into the woods is so thick with just like thorns and weeds and underbrush
It's not
and
inviting.
trees that
That's
like
how mine
you
is,
can't
too.
really get through." And so I just assumed that all the woods were like that. So I haven't tried to like get back there yet because I didn't want to get back there until I was like doing it for like a reason. And then, well, it turns out if you get past like the first 5 feet of that like underbrush and everything, it's like super clear back there. And I always wondered why, like, there's always a ton of deer in our yard. Like, at least 3 times a week, there's 14 deer in our yard. And I always wondered what the heck they're doing back there, but it's because they've just cleared out the woods, and it's like it's like a nice little it's like a nice little meadow back there. But there's also so many old pieces of metal just like dug in the ground, like there was a air compressor was back there.
How'd that get there?
Like AC compressor.
Yeah, how'd that get there? Was it a Murray?
Wait, yeah, it was a Murray. I'm just kidding. No, it was like obviously an old one. A bunch of old tools that are just like in pieces. There was a old like vintage pogo stick that obviously was leaned up against a tree at one point, and now the tree has grown around.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love that crap. Yeah. Well, that's really what's funny is the bottom of my woods, there's not just random stuff, it's a scrap pile. Like you can tell somebody in the past was just throwing metal barrels and crap down there. And it was funny because I was cleaning out my shed the other day for a little bit, and like the thought, I think I'm getting like possessed by my house because it like crept into my head. I was like, I mean, there's already a bunch of stuff down there. I could just start tossing this scrap down in the pile in the woods. Like, I don't want to get a dumpster for all this, and I didn't do it, but I thought about it.
Yeah,
it crept in. It did.
It got
there's already a bunch of rusty metal and pipes down there. I mean, like, what's another piece of carpet, huh? For the environment, you know.
What the funny thing is that all the deer and a mixture of the deer and the rabbits, there are rabbits everywhere, have like created like multiple different like perfect paths through the like brush. So like last year or whenever we bought the house in May, and it wasn't like it was just like a wall, but now there's like 3 perfect paths that you could just like walk through there. But now my dog has discovered them, so he tries to go back there, but I don't want him to get ticks.
Yeah, our woods are so vicious that I'm just gonna fence them off. I'm literally gonna put a one singular length of fence along the back of my yard, because there's like the last 3 feet of yard drop pretty quick right into just the nastiest briars you'll ever lay your eyes on. So I'm just gonna go one length of fence, and I'm probably gonna end up doing it myself, and I'm gonna probably regret that. And my dad hit me with one because I was telling my dad about it. I was like, I need to get like a quote on this, because like I've done so much crap on my own recently that I'm just kind of gotten into that mindset of like these big projects that I now know how hard they are. Yeah. I may just save up until I can contract a professional, because like for instance, I refinished an entire floor. I mean, I did a lot of flooring stuff in my house, and to the point where when I was done with it, I was like, when I do decide to get this carpet up in my basement and put in like LVP or whatever, I'm just gonna have a professional do it, because I'm so sick of it. My mind's already started to change on that, but that's how I feel about the fence. But then my dad was like, oh no, dude, because I watched a lot of YouTube on putting in fences, and it just looked like a pain in the butt.
Are you doing chain link or wood?
It's gonna be wood.
Okay,
and if I were to do it myself, I would probably just buy you can buy just like the picket sections, you know, and I wouldn't, because I only need like 90 feet of fence. And so if I did it that way, and I was willing to put into work, like I would probably be able to do it for, you know, easily under $1,000, like not super expensive, considering how expensive fences can be. But I was just like, the problem is it's not just a flat grade the whole way. And so like leveling it and getting all the pickets the right height, digging the holes the right depth, it seemed like a pain in the butt. My dad was like, oh no, like it's not bad. And I was like, oh, so you want to help? like you want to help me out? Because gosh, I'm just dreading that. Like I like the idea of going back there and trying to like anytime. The thing about homeownership I've learned that's like tough is like there's 2 different kinds of projects in the house. There's like the low visibility, like patch it up, just get it done type projects. And then there's these things that like, as a homeowner, like, okay, when I do this project, this is going to be a thing in my house that's pretty permanent. Yeah. And therefore I need to be confident enough that I can make it look good. And like, for instance, I made a shoe cubby recently, but it was a shoe cubby that was being thrown into a closet. So it turned out fine, but it didn't need to be perfect, because it's now in a closet. Right. It holds shoes. It does its job. Nobody sees it. Then recently I made a shelf, and like this shelf was like one of the first things I made that was like very visible in my home. And I was like, this is different. Like this, if I mess up, like what in the world? Like this is my house now. Like that's what it is. So like the fence, that's a big one.
Right.
Like if it looks terrible, if it's all crooked, like that thing, that I just invested all this money into. Like, I'm depending on my own abilities and craftsmanship to get this fence looking right, and that's a lot of pressure. That's high pressure stuff right there.
Yeah, we put in our own chain link fence in our backyard, which is like a 2/3 of an acre, so it's massive. We ended up not fencing at all, but we ended up bringing up because it was so expensive. This was in 2022, so everything was still expensive. So we literally took down our chain link fence in Montgomery and brought it with us.
That's awesome.
Everything that could fit on the moving truck came with us. So, but it is a pain, and there's some poles that look real good, but if you touch it, even though it's concreted in, because it wasn't concreted very well, it just moves really well. So, and we had to do some unique engineering on some poor measurements on stuff. So we had to, like, when we ran a fence back, we have a little barn at the back of our yard that was already there, and we came up to it, and it was our last pole for the gate. We had mismeasured, so there was a space between where the gate is and the barn is. So then we just put another pole there and connected those poles together just to try to keep stuff out. But I have an auger. It's a long way of saying if you guys ever need an auger, we bought an auger.
Connor needs your
I was
auger.
just about to ask you, Jason. I said I know that you said that you had an auger, and I might need to borrow it soon.
Yep, no problem. It was cheaper to buy than rent for how long I was going to need it, because that backyard took us like a week and a half because we just didn't have all day every day to work on it within a few hours. So we just bought the auger, and we'll happily let you borrow it. So.
I need because I did like string lights around our fire pit, and I just concreted them into Lowe's buckets, and it sucks. They're all crooked. They're all bad. It's not the way that I wanted to do it originally, but I just ended up doing it for convenience sake, and it seems easier than like. I brought up the idea of trying to fix it by like putting planter boxes around it so it'd be sturdier.
Right.
And then I just decided it's gonna cost maybe $100 to just like get new things to do it the right way.
Yeah.
And so I just got 10-foot 4x4s so that I could bury them in the ground and then concrete them into the ground. But
we have two bags of concrete too. So if you want some concrete,
I already got the concrete.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, these big bags of concrete are a good deal. And then I remembered that they're heavy.
They're very, very heavy.
So heavy.
Dude, I have a huge amount of respect for the guys who like their job every day is just to carry those bags of concrete. Yeah, I mean it's
Concrete's
crazy.
art,
I love watching roofers like walk up the ladders like with no hands with just a bunch of shingles on their back. Like,
dude, and
that's
those things
sick.
are heavy as crap. Oh my god.
They always have like one piece of foam, and like foam. Mattress topper basically, and just like throw it over their shoulder with like all those things and just walk up the freaking ladder. It's awesome.
They're built different. Yeah, couldn't be me. I had like one pack of leftover roof shingles in my shed that I think were used on my shed, and like I just have to drag them around.
Yeah,
They're so heavy.
There's like a pallet of shingles in my crawl space, and I was gonna try to get them out of there. And I tried to pick one up, and I was like, "It's just that's not worth it. They're not taking up that much space. They're just gonna stay down here." Yeah,
part of the house now.
I really wanted the pallet that they were on top of. Is really what I wanted.
Oh, that's a good point. Pallet desk,
not worth it.
I turned this pallet into a $300 table.
Yep.
Incoming.
Elizabeth has done that multiple times, taking multiple pallets, and she had to work like she likes to garden and do everything outside, so she literally got a bunch of free pallets while we were in Montgomery and built a little pallet workbench.
That's awesome.
And then she took it. She's the handyman in the house between me and her because I have no desire to do that. So Elizabeth just gets it planned and does it. And she also, so when we were in Alabama, we were on our house on base. There was a little bitty room they added on. And it was actually in the. This is how old the house is. Talking about Prohibition. In the floor plan, it's called the servants' quarters.
Oh my god!
These floor plans are like from early 1900s. It's really called the servants'
Wow.
quarter. So Xander, my youngest, wanted to be there because he had his own bathroom, but none of our beds fit. So we built a bed, like a no kidding, 4-poster bed, not 4-poster bed, but like elevated bed.
Mm-hmm. Like a loft bed.
And then we didn't need it anymore. So Elizabeth, we just kept all the wood because wood is freaking expensive. And so we brought all that up here, and Elizabeth built her a bench underneath. Our house is a 2-story house, but also it's a basement, so it's a walkout deck, and so she has a workbench underneath the deck that she just built out of the wood all on her own without any help.
That's cool.
And then when we had good weather a couple weeks ago on a weekend, we have a pool in our backyard, and by the deck there's a little walkway they had built that was just gravel, and it's gotten worn out for dogs and stuff. So she literally just built a little wood walkway there one Saturday. She goes, I'm just gonna do this today. Talking about the good weather, getting the need to do stuff. So
That's awesome.
I was like, okay, you do your own thing, man. And she did. She bought the wood, cut it, measured it, put it out there, stained it all in one day. So now we have a nice little walking path between our deck and our pool, which has a fence around it. So
yeah, I'm a wood hoarder.
Yeah, we do too.
It
Like
happened pretty quick, and I have no space for it. I need to build some high up like racks for them. Yeah. The tough thing about wood too is like a lot of the wood I have is like thinner plywood right now, and so it just, I mean, that's a fruit roll up. I got some 1/4-inch plywood that I used for a project not long ago, and I mean, you just have that thing sitting on the floor and it'll just curl up on itself. It's ridiculous. That stuff warps so quick. I wish wood didn't do that.
We had these like IKEA shelves that were in our front room when we first moved in, and we hated them. Like they at the end of the day, people always were really like confused as to why we hated them so much. But they're just like very like renter friendly looking. Like they were screwed into the wall, but they were just like modular. You could move them around, everything. I don't know. Maybe it's just because like Gabby and I were both coming off of our we were both in college, and then got married the week after graduation, and then we started renting a house. And so we both lived like the dorm life, and then the sharing a house with like our roommates life, and then like renting a house together life. And we were done with the renter look. Like we wanted to like, this is our home look. Like that's what we wanted. And so I think that's why like whenever we walked in, we would just look at the shelves and be like, I'm in a dorm room, and that's not where I am. Like I'm not in a dorm room anymore. And so like we hated these shelves. And so we finally like took them down, and I built like a wooden bookshelf to put there that I was very proud of. And it was like, Gabby showed me a picture on Pinterest, and I was like, I will build that. And I didn't look at any plans. I just like did it the way I wanted to out of my head. Took me a week, and I was in my shed until midnight, like every single night. And I had to rebuild it multiple times because it fell apart. But it was really fun, and I learned a lot. But it looks pretty nice. And whenever we were getting rid of the shelves, I just put them all in the crawl space, except for like 2 segments that I just like screwed into the wall on my shed, and I was like, oh, I'll just put like all my like stains and finishes here or whatever. And so I just put a bunch of cans of stains and finish on there. And then the other day, Gabby was like, oh, I sold those shelves on Facebook Marketplace, by the way. And I was like, no way, seriously? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And we sold them for like $100. And awesome. I mean, all we did was take them off the wall. So it was great. And then I was like, oh crap. That means I got to take down the shelves that I put up in the shed. So now there's just like cans of finish and stain all over my shed. I'm gonna have to build shelves.
The good thing about being a wood hoarder is that you can just drill any of it to the wall, and all of a sudden you have a shelf. Yep. Mm-hmm. You can take a 2x4 and put it in the wall, and then you got a shelf.
Very true.
That's the easy thing to do. Well, in the spirit of all of this, I think what we're gonna do today is a snake draft. Okay. So we did tier lists last week, but I wanted to do a snake draft so we could all have our individuality reflected. Like it. And we'll have people vote in the comments whose lineup is the best. And originally, my idea was going to just be to do straight up tools, but I'm going to broaden it a little bit. Not just tools. This is going to be helpful household objects. So tools can absolutely be included in that, but you could also include pieces of technology, a cleaning object, like anything that you would consider a helpful homeowner's like tool would be a good word to even describe it, but it's not just your traditional
like a
tool.
Utility item, a homeowner's utility item,
right? Anything that helps you out the most. So we're gonna get 5 picks for each person. I will write them all down so that we can maybe we'll put it as the pinned comment if we can convince Hunter to do that. I mean, that's a tough ask, but. I'll put it in as a comment if I have to. But in any case, that way people can see them in the comments and they can all vote on who has the best list of 5. Okay. And we're improvising this, I'll mention, so don't come after us if we forget something obvious. All right. Let's start with... I'll start since I came up with the idea to make it fair, so I don't put you guys on the spot. And then we'll go... Well, actually, that's not going to make any sense because I'm in the middle. You have one?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, then you can start, and we'll come this way and then snake back.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out...
I have one too as well, so I need to get a second lined up. I don't think Connor's going to choose mine, but I have an obvious.
Yeah, and
I've got 2.
Obviously, it's a draft, so you get
right.
I've got 2, and I don't want either of them to be taken, so I don't know which one to go first.
Right.
Do I want to go with a? Okay. All right, I'm gonna go with a very. Oh, shoot. I'm already overthinking this like crazy.
Okay.
Because how... Okay, I will just start off with a dishwasher.
Okay, so we're going into appliances.
Wow.
Okay.
Right? It's
I
a
did
house.
not think about appliances.
I was more. Yeah, I was definitely
thinking about
not-
something that you could
Okay,
hold in your
we'll
hand
get rid of it because I was
use
thinking.
something
I was
that.
like, because I was even going towards like kitchen items.
Yeah.
Well, I would say no. I would say you can use a kitchen item. I think appliance is more of like a machine. I'm thinking more
Okay.
of like
Yeah.
yeah, use with your hands type items. I guess I don't know. Like smaller than that. I guess.
Plumbing. I'm just kidding. A roof. Okay. All right. Then I'm gonna go with a drill.
That's perfect.
drill.
Yeah,
drill.
because you can do a lot of things with a drill. It's probably
Yeah.
the first tool that you need. You could say screwdriver, but you could do things that you do with a screwdriver with a drill.
Yeah, drill's very helpful.
I like drill.
I'm gonna go with vacuum. A vacuum cleaner is very important for us, for sure.
That's a good one for sure. I'm gonna go with super basic, but flashlight.
That's
I
good.
love,
Yeah. Okay.
like I love flashlights. Elizabeth makes fun of me because just the kid in me likes to just look at things in corner. I have my OLED.
I
on me
can't
right
find
now.
my flashlight.
I have
got mine
I've
right
even
here.
bought more. Like this used to be the flashlight, but then I have my my OLED.
Phone flashlights are only good. Like they're great. The phone having a flashlight rocks, but ultimately they're not the best.
Phone flashlights are great until you use a designated flashlight
realize how
and then
good they
try
are.
to use a phone
Yeah.
flashlight again.
Okay, so now it's me, right?
Yeah, you
'Cause
get
Snake.
another one.
So my other one was actually I was gonna be super technical or tactical on this one, but like a I think it's the name, but I had to read like the pocket jig, like the what's it called?
The pocket jig.
Pocket hole jig.
Yeah.
So that's how-
Okay.
Oh,
Love
because
that.
we've used it so much because that's what to basically
love
get
that.
the angled in, but
Didn't
still
expect
get it.
Like the
that.
Craig pocket
Craig
holder.
pocket,
Yeah.
right? Like we had a generic one that Elizabeth hated because I got off Amazon,
Okay.
and so we bought the Craig.
So you guys use a
Nice.
pocket hole jig.
That's
because
awesome.
we've built
they're-
so many shelves, and that's really good thing for shelves, right? We
Yeah.
built shelves in our house in Virginia, in Alabama, and here. So
That's a good answer. I didn't expect.
Very, very
I didn't expect to
tactical.
hear the pocket hole jig on here,
Yeah,
but I like
so-
that. Okay, I am simply gonna go with a utility knife. I've got them sitting
Yeah.
everywhere. The
Yep.
razor blades are so
Yep.
cheap to
Yep.
replace. You can you get the ones with the quick release on there, and the blade store. It's so easy. I've got them everywhere in my house.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with not necessarily a household tool, but it's just gonna be a tool overall. The tool that does everything. It's gonna be a table saw.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, helpful household tool.
well, I mean, we were looking at. It's still a tool.
Yeah,
if
it
you,
is.
I'm
to
good
do
with that,
anything
yeah.
around your house. Table saw would be super helpful.
It does. It is helpful for creating anything to go in your house. That's for sure.
And then my other thing will be a pair of Knipex pliers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if the Knipex is I'm being very specific with that. If
well,
you
like
guys
which
are trying
are
to
you
look
talking
it
about,
up,
like needle nose?
no,
or
I'm
like,
talking about like the Knipex pliers.
But they make-
they're certain. They're like
they make all the pliers though.
yeah, but their like flagship one is like a certain shape.
Yeah.
Which
I don't remember
one?
what it's called.
Is it alignment pliers? Like what would you?
I can't remember what it's called.
Or is it the ply, like the locking wrench one?
Like
that they make that's
their
awesome?
locking plier would probably be the
Because they make that locking wrench plier thing.
Right.
That's
It's gotta
awesome.
be like I have a pair in my EDC pouch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
that'd be
make
a pair.
ones
It's
that
like it's basically like a pair of like
Right, it's
channel.
the-
it's like the channel lock,
kind of
one.
like channel.
Yeah,
locks, yeah.
that is.
But you can
that
do.
is-
It's like the only pair of pliers in the world that you can actually grip onto something without ruining it.
They're basically
So-
those ones are those are kind of like channel locks and almost like a vice grip in one, aren't they?
Not quite like a vice grip. They just the way that the snout is shaped.
Yeah.
You can actually, no matter what size, like a bolt.
You
is
have
or
those?
anything, yeah.
I don't have any of those. Those are cool.
And you can. Well, I have them for working on the car, but that's what I'm saying. You can have it in a pinch. You can work on anything in your house that
No,
is
yeah,
a
the
hex
rule-
shape or a square shape or anything. You can grab onto it without stripping it, and no matter the size. And then
No,
also you can work on a car.
I
with
feel
it
like
as well.
the pliers thing, like everybody has their shape of pliers that they use for everything.
And just to let everybody at home know, it's spelled Knipex if you're trying to look it up, and it's pronounced Knipex. You can look it up on their website.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Disclaimer. Okay.
Don't come after Konner, please. Don't come after Konner.
I appreciate that, Jason.
Let's see here.
I don't even know what tools I just said. Oh, a table saw and Knipex. Wow, my list is getting niche. I said
gonna-
drill for my first one though. So.
I'm gonna go with a level.
Yeah,
Love
that's
levels.
good.
Hang stuff all the
Yeah.
time in the house, even if you have just furniture that might not be level or a chair or something. Having a level around is very helpful.
Yep. So I'm gonna go super practical. A ladder.
I was
that's a
literally
great
just
one.
thinking
That's a
that.
great
I was just
one.
thinking
That's
that.
really good.
And we have a bunch of different ladders.
We have a
in our
step
house.
ladder that just folds out, and that thing
Yeah.
is like so helpful.
Yeah.
That is a very good one.
And then the other one, oh my gosh, I just blanked on what it was. It was more okay.
I can't wait for my next one.
I'm just
and-
improvising everything.
And this
right
is
now.
very boring, but super practical. Is a good pair of work gloves.
Yeah,
Because you can use work gloves for every
Yes,
gardening,
Jason, that's a
hauling,
great one.
doing everything. So,
is
and
a
I
good
have
one.
a pair of mechanics. Like it's the brand, right?
yeah.
That just I love. Like I could just wear all the time. Honestly, they feel so good, but they're practical. So a good pair of work gloves.
Every
That is a good
time
one.
I kick
Oh, I just
myself
thought of
every
an
time I
amazing
go to
one. Oh my
Lowe's
gosh.
or Home Depot and I start grabbing wood. I'm like, why didn't I bring my gloves?
Yeah, exactly. So we used to buy so now we keep a pair of gloves in everybody's car. Like my kids and me, I put a pair of mechanics gloves in their car because if you need to change your tire,
Yeah.
you got
Yeah.
gloves. If you need
Yeah.
whatever, you got gloves. So.
I'm gonna go with zip ties.
Oh,
It's a good
zip
one.
ties are so
It's a great
good.
one.
So good. That's a good one.
I'm going to go
This is
with
your last two here, Connor.
a lawnmower.
Okay, yeah, gotta have one
Gotta. How else are you gonna cut your grass?
by hand. Scissors.
Then scissors is your answer.
Yeah,
Wait.
true. Oh, that is a good
my
answer.
my next one might be
A good pair of scissors is quite good.
I think my next one is duct tape.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna take.
Yeah.
But now I might take scissors. But I did already put a knife on there, so I probably won't. Okay, so that's your.
So you said duct tape. Okay.
So his
that
list
was
is
going to be
drill,
my
table
that was gonna be my
saw.
next one was duct tape.
drill, table saw, Kneppix, pliers, lawnmower, duct tape. A lot of great things.
It's a pretty good list.
Yep.
Okay, last one for me. Let's round it out here. That's tough. This is tough. There's a couple that come to mind. There's so many things that you
Yeah.
really need. Man, Jason, if you have your last one ready, I'll let you.
I
laugh
don't.
at
I'm
me,
literally
okay?
mentally going through my workbench at home and trying to think about
Ooh.
what.
Oh, I got
what
one.
specific.
I got one. Power strips.
Yeah.
Can't live without those in
I
the
have a ton
house.
of those around.
Yeah. So my completed list is vacuum cleaner, utility knife, a level, zip ties, and power strips. That sounds about right for me.
I'm starting to feel like with how broad this list is, I could have had dishwasher on there.
When I introduced the list, I said helpful household tools.
Yep.
But,
Items
I
that
mean,
you use around the household that are helpful.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, I mean, you broadened it by saying table saw, I think.
What?
Because you think helpful tools you use around the household. I mean, you can definitely fit table saw into that because that is loose. I mean, our brains are always fixating on a different
Yeah.
definition of what things are. But
I should have said iPhone.
I mean, yeah,
It is a helpful tool. So
I mean, how would you know how to do anything in your house?
it's true. Google.
Oh wow.
Jason, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, you should take Google or YouTube.
Well, my first answer was like super tactical again, which is what. But then Trevor says helpful around the house.
I mean, if it's helpful around your house, it's helpful.
Yeah.
You
My
make the
house
rules.
is wherever I lay camp. Am I right, boys?
That's right. The home is where the heart is.
Okay, I got one. I got one. A good work bucket.
That's a great
Like
one.
The
Love
5-gallon bucket
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you can do
Love that.
so many things with a work bucket.
I would
So,
say-
a good work
I
bucket.
used it as a stool.
I have
when
a
I was doing
stack
the
of
breaks the
I
other
have a
day.
stack up in the garage. We use them for all kinds of different
Nobody
things.
went
so.
down the food like lane, but like you definitely could have said like cast iron skillet or like
Yeah.
or like
I
a
was
crock
trying-
pot. A crock
A
pot
crock
would be a
pot,
great one.
pressure
That's where I was trying to
cooker.
figure out
Instant
because
pot.
like
Yeah.
it's yeah.
I didn't think
I-
about the kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. That's,
Technically, though, you could argue a crock pot is also kind of an appliance. though,
Yeah,
right?
you
yeah.
can.
I don't know. What is the definition? Anyways, all right. Well, so Jason's list is flashlight, pocket hole jig, ladder, work gloves, 5-gallon bucket. Here's a good thing about these lists. All of these are very custom to us and like what we really. I think each of those lists reflects what we genuinely need a lot around our house and use. So people will probably vote on what resonates with them, like what kind of. I think Connor's is very tool centric for sure, like your classic tools. That's what he enjoys doing. Mine is a lot of like, I feel like smaller little practical things, and then Jason is very custom things to what he likes. I think the ladder though, that was a very good
Yeah.
one because
Ladder's
like
a
a
good
step
choice.
ladder is. Gosh, I have this metal step ladder that I'm pretty sure I stole from my in-laws.
I also
and
can't remember the last time I used duct tape at my house. But
You know-
duct tape is
Yeah.
just a tool. You gotta have, it on
it
there.
all the time.
That
yeah.
is the thing about duct tape is I feel like there are phases. There are times where I need it a ton, but like overall, as much as I love saying, "Oh, I just love duct tape. Got to have duct tape." I don't know how much I actually use duct tape. If
Yeah,
you're doing anything remotely crafty, then you might break it out. But like,
I use duct tape in the office a lot more than I would in my house.
Right, it's more like a quick fix for something. So it's more like a patch for something. Yeah. Well, it goes. What's funny when I
was a kid, I would use it for everything.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I guess maybe what it is now I have access to grown up hardware.
Yeah.
So like, I'm just not even gonna think to just like, because when you're a kid, you just think I need to fix this. I'm gonna use duct tape. When you're an adult, you're like, I'm gonna fix this. Let me YouTube how to fix it the correct way so that it's done correctly.
Well, people would say that about zip ties too, but I disagree.
Right.
I think zip ties is a legit fastener.
Yeah.
Yeah. I use zip ties mostly for cord management.
People don't realize how strong.
They're so strong.
Zip ties are.
People, you can handcuff people. There's a
donut media video of them comparing like super expensive zip ties to just like the Harbor Freight dollar zip ties.
Yeah. Guess what?
Guess what?
The cheap ones rock. Yeah,
they were the same thing.
It's so great.
They both held like 80 pounds.
You know what? When I was a kid, I used to use duct tape. We used to wrap all our wiffle balls in duct tape because then they would be a little heavier, so they went further. And also, they would, if they cracked, they're just covered in duct tape, so it wouldn't matter.
Eventually, you have a duct tape ball.
Yeah, it's duct tape ball.
What's funny is I think I have most of the smaller things are in my truck because I have a tool roll like in my truck that it has duct tape in it, has gloves in it, has zip ties in it, has wrenches in it, has pliers in it. But then I also have the thing on the back of my
pocket hole jig.
It does have the pocket hole jig. That's way too tactical. Sorry, but on the back of my seat, I also have one of those like back things that has the mole system that has like a first aid kit and gloves. Okay. But it also has power bank in there. I have a headlamp in there, so flashlight. So I'm prepared. I've never used those in the real world, but I'm ready to go if I need to use those.
I'd like to get that whole jig. Craig just is awesome. They make so many cool jigs and attachments and things like that. And a lot of them are kind of expensive, but they are going to last you, and they do go on sale because I have one of their like clamping straight edges that you can use to like rip plywood and stuff, and you just like run your circular saw on it. Yeah. And I got it on sale, and it was pretty reasonable. But they make a lot of cool things.
Jason, I came up with this phrase in the disc golf world the other day, where I called something your tourniquet disc. It's the disc that you use to stop the bleeding. Yeah. So what is your tournament disc in your bag?
My tourniquet disc? Wow, right now it's probably a Wizard. So
okay.
Of all things, I don't throw very far, right? So but I'm gotten to the point now that the Wizard I have, which is that Freddy Krueger one we had in our box, I can throw it on Andy, and it'll stay on Andy. I can throw it on Heiser, stay on Heiser. I can throw it straight, it'll go straight. And it's one, and I learned because of the plastic of that, I can actually throw it in the rain and it not slip out. So that would definitely be my tourniquet. What about yours? What's yours?
Oh man,
you asked the question. All right, Trevor, what's yours?
I don't remember if I think the Passion.
My turn.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
It's one that I know I can get down the fairway with, but it's not going to go too far left, and it's not going to go too far right.
Yeah,
mine has pretty much always been whatever my like straight mid range is at the time. So for the longest time, it was that rock. Right now, I have a shark in there that's kind of doing that, but either that or my like putter that is like slightly overstable that I can just throw on Anheuser and then it goes straight. Discs like that. Anything I can throw on slight Anheuser. It's kind of that disc
that you're like, I'm not going for anything with this shot.
Right.
This shot is just, I know it's going to be good.
I know
it's going to be fun. Yeah.
I can throw it straight for 120 feet or I can make it curve. Like that's the Wizard. Again, I don't throw very far, so it's perfectly fine for me. So
a lot of people say, speaking of tourniquets, I keep seeing people doing like wood shop tours and stuff like that, and a lot of them talk about keeping a tourniquet in your shop because like you've got like basically 90 seconds till you black out if you hit an artery.
Yeah,
probably should get one of them, huh?
Yeah, it's funny, but then you hear people talk about, and then they're like, but you have to test the tourniquet, but then like whenever you test it, like it's no good anymore, so you shouldn't use it anymore. And then like, how do you get it? Like, what tourniquet do you use then?
Right. I should probably pick one up.
You can still use that one. It just won't be as like you've lost some of the tensility of. Is that
they make it like whenever I hear
so.
Someone talk about a tourniquet, it makes me even more scared. Yeah. Like because it makes me so scared of the tourniquet because it's like, well, also if this like malfunctions in any way, then like you're just gonna die.
Well, whenever it's very sobering whenever you're watching people talk about table saws or whatever, and then they mention that because it brings you back to reality a little bit, and you're like, oh yeah, if I make one wrong move, my life's over. Yeah. But I'm just trying to make a bookshelf.
That's just life.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm just trying to cut this board in half so that I can make this little shelf, and if I slip up, I'm gonna cut my arm off and die.
Yeah, I mean, you're just going from like this is just an average Saturday to this is a life altering injury.
Yeah.
So we missed an obvious one like bandages, right? A household item that we all use. First aid kit is there. That's
True.
That'd be like-
or like slippers.
I bought like an Amazon first
Or like
aid-
underwear. It'd be like a really good
underwear's
one.
a
Like
good
you like
one
to
for
wear
sure.
underwear.
If you're into that. I bought like an Amazon first aid kit whenever my wife and I first like moved into our first like apartment or wherever we were living, and it's still the one we have. And we haven't used it that much, luckily, but it's probably been depleted enough. I probably should get a better one.
I used like all of our Band-Aids because one time we had a youth event at our church where we were doing mud volleyball. And so they
I forgot about that.
they had like really bad, they did this event like a couple years ago too, but they had issues with like they just used like some generic mud that they had and everything or some dirt and then like soaked it down and everything, turned it into mud.
Right.
And apparently everybody was complaining because there was a bunch of rocks in there.
Oh no.
So this time they like ordered like sifted dirt like to use as mud.
I didn't even know that.
And like put it on top of tarps so that no one would get hurt. And I was playing and stepped on a piece of glass. And
It kicked your butt.
the funny thing was
This was right before what trip?
this is right before my family went to Florida.
That's right.
I could barely walk.
Yeah.
The funny thing was I felt my right foot like a sharp pain. I was like, there's something in my foot. So I picked my foot up, piece of glass sticking out of it. I'm like, that hurts. And so I like jump on one foot off and like I'm like not making a scene because I don't want to freak any of the students out or anything. So I just kind of go over to the side where the hose is. Someone's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, hey, would you mind if I use that hose? There's a piece of glass in my foot. And so I hosed off, pulled the glass out, and it was like the part that was in my foot was like a needle, basically.
Yeah.
So it was like I pulled it out,
No big
and there's
deal.
just like, but I couldn't see it. That was what was bothering me was because there's so much mud. Finally rinsed the mud off. It was just like a little dot of blood, and the glass wasn't still in there. I was all good. So we like rinsed it off, got a towel, put a Band-Aid on it. And I'm walking, and it hurts really bad though because it's very sore. And then I like my left foot because that was on my right foot. My left foot, I'm like, there's like a gunk of like thing of mud stuck on the bottom. Why does it feel like there's something else stuck on the bottom of my foot? So I'm like scraping it on the curb, like trying to get mud off my foot and everything. So me and my wife leave early because now I am all gimped up because of the glass in my foot. And so we go ahead and leave. And on the way home, I just like put my left foot like on my knee, just like sitting there. And I look, and there's this huge gash taken out of my foot. Like it's like probably 1.5 inches wide of a deep cut on my left foot. I'm like, why the heck was I so focused on the little hole in my right foot? There's a huge gash right here. And by this point, because I'd been like jumping just on my left foot to try to preserve my right foot, it was just caked full of mud. So then I got home and I'm like rinsing it off.
The best way to stop the bleeding.
It's true. But I'm like rinsing it off and there's so much sand and mud just deep inside of it. And so I'm pouring like hydrogen peroxide on it and it hurts so bad. Oh my gosh, it hurt so bad. I thought I was going to cry. And so then I cauterized it. I asked my friend Carter to spit in it. Just kidding.
Nice one.
Thanks, man. And so I just like put a Band-Aid on it. And then like the rest of that week, I was just changing out Band-Aids and Neosporin on it. I'm not usually like a get cut, use Neosporin and Band-Aids kind of guy.
It was big and you caked
Like,
it in mud.
you gotta do that.
yeah, it was the fact that it was full of mud.
No, I feel like.
and then the next 2 days after that, I went to Florida and I limped around Florida the whole time.
That's awful. It's terrible getting a cut on your foot. I definitely should invest more in like a nicer first aid kit. Probably we do. Like the only expensive things we ever bought for the purpose of first aid is when our first kid was young. We bought, they're called Life Vacs, and they're basically these like, they're to help if your kid is choking. You put it over their mouth almost like an oxygen mask, and then there's a thing you pull up and the suction can like dislodge. And they're very effective. You know, they've saved so many lives, and they're kind of expensive. I think like $70, but like it was the peace of mind that it gives you is great. So we bought one for the car and one for the house, and we still have them because they're, you know, we've never had to use them, thank goodness. You know, if you ever had
That's
little
actually
kids,
great.
you know
we
that
need
they
to
are,
put those on our baby registry.
yeah,
That's a very good idea.
yeah, they're great to have, and you know, choking is a matter of when, not if, with kids. Now, luckily, most of the time it's let me give you a slap in the back. It might give you a little heart attack, but they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Had that happen about 1 million times, especially when they're learning to eat. But luckily we've never had to use that. But it is great to have that if it gets to the point where like, oh my gosh, we cannot do anything else. So that's always the one thing we know exactly where that is in the house. But yeah, I'm like, I do have like this old house with all kinds of things that could happen. I've got these fireplaces that my kids could just trip and crack their head open on. Like I should probably invest in like a good first aid kit. Like what it even, I mean, I don't even know. Like I think I spent $15 on the one I have, and it's pretty nice. It's got some gauze and Band-Aids and Neosporin. I mean, what could 50 get you?
Yeah.
Like a saw?
It'll include
like
like
do an
scissors,
amputation?
a tourniquet.
Yeah, do you have a nice first aid kit, Jason?
Yeah, we have a couple of, I'm gonna
I know the warehouse has a nicer first aid kit than I've got. You got that cool Uline one.
Yeah.
Comes with like aspirin and stuff.
So yeah, I
look one up.
I carry a little first aid thing in my
feeling
backpack,
convicted right
which is
now.
a bunch of mostly just Band-Aids and some gauze and some Neosporin just for quick stuff. I even have like a little one I have in my disc golf bag, a little EDC one that has like tweezers in case you get a tick, you know,
That's
and it
awesome.
has like Band-Aids and Neosporin.
Okay, this is
Gauzes and tourniquets.
This is a professional 350 piece emergency first aid kit. Now, I love when people. It's like when you buy a mechanic's tool set. It says 190 piece,
But it's for like every
sockets and stuff. And
every
bits.
Allen key.
Yeah.
Every single Band-Aid.
So like,
in
what
there.
does 350 piece actually mean?
One time
don't know.
I saw a toolkit that had a bag of zip ties, and it counted each zip tie in the bag as a piece of the toolkit.
I mean, I can literally see on here, like it's gonna count every piece of gauze, every Band-Aid. But this one looks like. Let's see if it has a list. This is $42 for this professional 350 piece kit. It says it's going to give you. I mean, okay, I can see the picture here. It looks like you're getting all of the bandages, gauzes, that thing, but you're also going to get safety pins. There is a tourniquet on there, some like Q-tip swab things, some tweezers and scissors, some gloves, tongue depressors. What the heck do you use that for?
In case they're choking.
Okay.
You can see if they're choking. So
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean that looks kind of fun, but not. I mean, I want something really cool. Now this is 440. Wait, no, this is $20. This one is a 298 piece kit that also comes with scissors. And
they couldn't give you two more for the 300 piece kit. I mean, come on, 298.
Well, I think that other
Two
one.
more Band-Aids.
I think they priced it up just because. Yeah. Anyways.
Well, they can't say Band-Aid. It's adhesive bandage. Because
Band-Aid is
trademarked,
trademarked, man.
Trademarked.
Yeah. Wow, there's a lot of options. I want to know what the most expensive one is.
Guys, whenever I was like 6 years old, I had this realization the other day. Whenever I was like 6 years old, I like put like a handful of nerds in my mouth. And then my friend's uncle was like going around to like all the kids and like grabbing them by their hands and spinning them around. Like, you know, they used to do that, like where your feet are flying in the air.
Of
and, like,
course.
spin you around. Very uncle thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uncle Steven was his name.
Uncle Steve.
Wasn't my uncle. Stefan, actually.
Oh, sorry.
Uncle Stefan, my bad.
I'm sorry.
And I just put a mouthful of nerds in my mouth. And he came over to me and just grabbed my hand and started flailing me around. Of course, I was down for it.
Yeah.
You know, like, I want to be spun.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. I'm like, move, Stephen. and then in the process of that, a couple nerds traveled from my mouth, like through the back path, like down the back roads, and got into my nose.
Because, like, I would say the inertia is taking those nerds directly down your throat.
No. They went into my nose.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, yeah, like they went from my mouth down my throat and then up into my nose.
That's worse.
And I just remember him like stopping, like laughing and like going away, and me standing there thinking there's fire in my nose. like someone put a bunch of bees in my nose, and it burned so bad.
You don't want nerds in your nose.
And the reason why this memory came back to me is because I know the reason why I don't eat nerds to this day. Well, I do. Like once a year, I eat nerds. Usually around Halloween time, whenever it's like the only time I ever see nerds. But I was at like a youth event like a few weeks ago, and they were throwing out boxes of nerds. So of course I grabbed one, put some in my mouth. Immediately my nose starts burning.
Oh my!
It's like
psychosomatic.
It's like a reaction now, and that's why like I associate nerds with my nose burning. Every single time I eat nerds, my nose starts burning.
That's crazy.
And anytime I eat any of that like super like citric acid type candy, like Smarties and Nerds and like anything like Spree, anything like that, my nose starts burning. And it's because I just like the smell gives me the memory of that.
Dude, I'm not looking forward to the first time that my kid decides to put something up his nose, because that's like something kids do. Like I remember my little brother, I have specific memories of him sticking like a Barbie shoe up his nose. and like my mom like freaking out. Like kids just be stuffing stuff up their nose.
Yeah.
I
used to swallow quarters.
Yeah, and like I'm just dreading the first time that something goes up Brooks's nose, and we gotta like dig that thing out of there.
I specifically remember
nostrils.
my sisters handing me quarters and me just being like, and swallowing them, and then like giggling, and then like handing me another one. I'd swallow like 5 quarters.
How many quarters do you think you swallowed?
I am worth a lot.
How many quarters?
Well, hopefully they're not still in there.
Yeah,
so.
hopefully not.
You pass. There's no way you passed.
Yeah, you passed them. Xander swallowed a quarter. We were celebrating our anniversary in Jacksonville. My mom had my Xander with my mom, and we were staying in a nice Airbnb. And then my mom calls me like 11 o'clock at night. Oh, Xander, we think swallowed a quarter that was on his side table. So we took him to the emergency room that night, and we have a nice little X-ray of a circle.
That's hilarious.
In his stomach.
That's so funny.
And like you just pass it naturally because he got an X-ray a little bit later on, and it was gone.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, if you shook me, it sounded like a piggy bank.
It's crazy though.
Connor's eaten a lot of like weird
wild.
things in his lifetime.
I have all just to make someone laugh. For me, it's worth it if I get a chuckle out of somebody or I get like a disappointed look out of somebody. They're both a reaction, you know.
Yeah.
If you don't want me to do something, just don't react.
That's true. That's very true.
I'm like a child.
You don't do it as much anymore. Nowadays,
No.
you usually consider it.
I'm
But
an
you will usually say like, if you don't want me to do this, please stop because I will do it.
Yeah,
like you
usually-
kind of warn us, and so that way we can back off because we care.
I did put an entire Easter egg in my mouth last night.
You didn't eat it though.
I didn't.
Baby steps.
But I put it in there, and it was like I couldn't stop myself. It was like
Was
my body
the shell
just did
still?
it.
I mean, like a plastic Easter
Like
egg?
a plastic
Okay,
Easter egg.
okay.
Like, but like as in like it was at somebody else's house.
All right.
Yeah.
Like we were like it was me and my friend were in the kitchen. It was just the two of us. And I was going to grab like a piece of candy out of the basket, and he's like, "Yeah, grab a piece of candy." And then I grabbed the Easter egg and I put the whole thing in my mouth.
It's good stuff.
And then I took it out of my mouth and I was like, "I'll throw this away for you." And he was like, "Yeah, that'd be nice." And he walked out the room, and I was like, "I didn't even like. Why did I do that?"
It's reflex. I kind of forgot until yesterday because our realtor dropped off like a bag with candy in it. I kind of forgot that Easter, like, oh yeah, this is a holiday where we do end up consuming candy a lot of the time, and I'm not ready for that because I've been eating like crap lately.
Yeah.
Because after having a baby, like my wife and I just have no energy to put any focus towards food, so we just basically eat whatever. And yeah, a candy holiday following that up. My goodness.
That actually
I'm
leads
in
me
for
to
it.
the question I wanted to ask you guys this week. We're gonna do a little Easter trivia. Okay.
Actually,
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's only one question. Who is your Lord and Savior?
that's
That's a tough one.
I thought you were gonna say he is risen. We were gonna say he's
There
risen
are
indeed.
so many options for that. So
I legitimately thought you had about like 10 questions that you had Googled for Easter trivia. Now I kind of want to do Easter trivia.
Yeah. the Easter
Well, what's
trivia
your favorite? I mean, all right, Cadbury cream egg, yay or nay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because
fine with
so
it.
many people say nay. That's by
Well,
far my
I think
my
the most,
all-time favorite.
the most controversial is marshmallow peep, yay or nay.
Yay. Yay, if it's been left on the counter for a day or two
They're
and it's
better.
really hard.
Yeah,
and
they're
rubbery,
better if they're stale. Yeah.
So good.
I agree. They're
So
better if they're stale.
good.
So
Like,
I'm yay for like one of them.
Yeah,
maybe
I can
two.
eat
I can
one.
make myself sick with the stale ones, and it's sad.
It was a candy that I was infatuated
loved
with
them.
as a kid, but nowadays, like, yeah, I'll eat one and be like, yeah, marshmallow peep, haha.
No, I can't eat.
When
more
I'm
than
eating
one,
well,
yeah.
I wouldn't touch it, but right now I'm not eating well, so like I'm probably gonna go buy some at Walmart on the way out of here and
And then leave
open
them
them
on the
up.
counter.
I literally
Yeah.
open them up, put them on the counter for a day. Okay, they're not quite stale enough. Then 2 days later, they're like, so,
That's awesome.
pretty-
That's
it's
so
pretty
funny.
sad, but-
Stale peeps. Okay. They always do.
I had a Reese's egg
did you try
last
the?
night.
Oh, that's good.
That was a good
Yeah.
time.
Did you try the peep flavored Pepsi when it came out?
I refuse to. I
was
love
gross.
Pepsi too much.
It was gross.
to try that.
It was disgusting.
It was just
It would ruin Pepsis and Peeps
one
forever
of my
for me. So.
one of my toxic personality traits is that if there is a flavored version of something classic that probably is going to ruin it anyways, I have to try it.
Yeah.
I have to try I have to know what the new
What
one
is
tastes
it?
like.
We did the flaming hot Mountain Dew, right?
Yes, they made
That
a
one
flaming
Sounds
hot.
terrible.
It was like you drank it, and you're like, oh, Mountain Dew, and then
And
you
then it
stopped
was
drinking, you're like, wasabi.
I like.
No, it
Mountain
was
Dew
like
the way
legitimately
is.
spicy. It
Yeah.
burned. It was
Yeah.
spicy. It was gross.
I'm not a
so
spicy
gross.
guy in general. Not really spicy. I like a little heat, but not like real
Well,
spice.
well, that's unfortunate because we got these hot sauces because we're gonna do a disc golf hot ones eventually,
okay.
and we need you to test them all.
I'm in then. I'm in.
Actually, you want to test
I'll
one?
do it. Yeah. For content, come on, I'll do it.
No, you're just
If you
testing.
need
You're
to.
just testing it for the
Well,
content.
then no, there's
Yeah.
no way. If it's not on camera,
You
I'm
can do it for the
not
Patreon. You can test it for the Patrons. They'd probably get a
Fair
kick out
enough.
of it.
I can test
that's
it
a
for
good
The
idea.
Patreon.
hottest one
Oh,
is
it's a great
also
idea.
2 million Scoville units.
I will not touch that. So.
I think it's funny
That should totally be a Patreon video. Is
You
like
and Brad can
Brad and
test them
Jason.
out.
Brad
test
likes
the-
spicy. Well, Nate loves spicy.
Okay, so
when
maybe
Nate's
we need to
back,
have
right. It's
maybe
Nate.
we need to have Nate test.
Have
it.
Nate's a
them test them.
hardcore spicy
'Cause
sauce guy. So.
I'd like to have an idea of how they line up before we do it. The first, there's 5 sauces. The first, maybe there's 6. I think there's 6, and the first 3 are probably not going to be a very big deal at all. The fourth one's like okay, and then the last 2 are like 1 and 2 million Scoville
Okay,
units. Like
yeah.
like there's like a ghost pepper, and then this other one I've never even heard of. So yeah, that's gonna be something.
That's funny.
We always like in there's a little chain place it's in Pigeon Forge, but the other place called like Pepper Palace.
Yeah.
and they have like a ton of sauces. So like, and you can just flavor them all. So we went to Pigeon Forge a few weeks ago for a little family thing, and we came back with 6 jars because it was buy 6 get 2 free. I have 3 kids, so they all got like their own flavor stuff. But I came back with some spicy barbecue sauce. It was just like jalapeno or habanero. It's good stuff. I like heat, but I don't like spice, like super hot.
Same.
Like good wings.
I like
sauce
something when it
that's
has a good
heat.
kick.
Yeah.
But yeah. Speaking of Tennessee, so I don't know if you guys ever hear about like the casino they're building in Bristol. For some reason I thought it was in Danville. It's not. It's in Bristol. So obviously Bristol being right on the border of Virginia and Tennessee.
Right.
And I was looking into it last night because I really I loved my experiences going to Vegas. I thought it was super fun, like walking around the casino. It's a blast. And I was like, I'd love to take Kenzie to just like experience that because I think it's just fun to like see that.
Yep.
And well, it turns out so they're building a Hard Rock hotel and casino in Bristol.
Okay.
But I guess what they had done is they built a temporary just Bristol casino while they're constructing the full thing. But it's supposed to be done by July. Like it's supposed to be finished in the summer. So we're talking about doing it as an anniversary trip in the fall this year, going to the Hard Rock, staying in the Hard Rock hotel, and then like the casino's like obviously on one of the floors. I think it'd be a good time.
That's cool. Do they have a pool?
I hope so.
That's cool.
Probably not going to use it in November, but it also is like right on the border of Tennessee, Bristol. What an interesting city. Those bordering cities are fascinating to me.
That was one of the things whenever we stayed at Caesar's Palace, one of the things that Gabby said was don't go to the pool.
There's like a ton of pools there.
And I said, why? And then she read me the name of one of the pools that you can go to. I think it's a little risque.
Really?
Yeah.
There's like a pool for like every block of the hotel out there, but they were all outdoor pools. Yeah, I didn't really see any. I don't know.
I think there was a lot of risque things in Caesar Palace that we didn't see, that we didn't walk by.
Well, that's just the city of Las Vegas.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
I just didn't-
how the
yeah.
saying goes.
My experience in Las Vegas has been only within the confines of like a hotel room and
That's
then
all-
like
yeah.
a very small stretch of the strip, like literally just to basically walk out and see the fountain show
Yes.
and walk back. So yeah, it's obviously been a pretty like, because like if you're walking around the casino, like obviously, yeah, you don't want to lose all your money in there, but like there's nothing crazy going on. It's like being in an adult arcade. Now a guy might try to sell you cocaine in there. That did happen to us, but that doesn't happen to everybody.
Right.
I guess we just
Very
looked like we just
interesting
looked the type.
experience.
Yeah.
I can cross that off my list.
Yeah. So that
I mean,
happened.
to be honest, looking
Yeah.
at the
I mean, we
four
looked
of us
like-
walking,
we
we
looked
looked
like
like a
some
bachelor
coke
party.
addicts. I mean,
we
my
looked like a
goodness.
walking bachelor party everywhere we went.
We looked like I think we looked
There's a
like
bunch of
the
like
equivalent-
youngish guys who were all giggling.
We looked like the equivalent of like the high schooler that wants somebody to buy alcohol for them. Like I think we looked like the older guys that were looking for like we didn't know anything about anything, and they're like these guys are idiots. Like
And also none
we're
of
gonna
us-
sell them cocaine at 10 times the rate of going rate of cocaine.
The funniest thing about just like us, and people always make comments about this in videos, is like these guys have to be high. None of us have ever been high before. It's just we are always just
have
in that
fun,
kind of
guys.
mood. Like
Right. You're high on life.
Yeah,
I mean, come on,
yeah.
high on disc
I mean,
golf.
come on. We were traveling the world playing disc golf. You didn't think we were going to look high?
and we were
honestly,
exhausted.
some of the
and we'd
places we
eaten
traveled.
so much Applebee's.
Where did we even eat when we were in Vegas? We didn't really go anywhere in
we ate
Vegas.
at the food court.
That's right. Yeah,
we
just
had
had
that
the
burger
Oh yeah, we
place.
had the Bobby Flay burger
Yeah.
place, which was good.
It's fine,
They were
yeah.
good burgers. Yeah. All right.
See Silas laughing over there. I don't know if it's about y'all's
What did you
time
get?
in Vegas.
So many other places in Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't. Silas, you're the pickiest eater of the group.
Silas
so I
is
don't.
disappointed.
What
at
were
their
you mad
choice
we couldn't
in
get
Vegas.
chicken fingers somewhere else? Like,
No,
what?
I mean, I'm with him. I wasn't like the food court wasn't my first choice if we were going to go. But also at that point, I was just so tired, I didn't want to go anywhere.
Yeah, I said the only reason we didn't explore was because
we were too scared.
Well, yeah, we didn't really want to just walk around aimlessly, and also like we were gonna have to wait a long time for food. We wanted to spend our time like actually
and
playing.
Parking was crazy.
Right.
So.
There were some places ended up on the West Coast that all we had was time to explore, and some places we didn't have any time really. And it just so happened that one of the places we had time to explore was a place like Ogden,
which was electric.
We had played the most fun escape room ever, and had dope pizza and saw the sick historical 51st Street. Yeah, that's just how that worked.
The people on
Ogden
that
is an
street,
outdoorsy city, though.
No,
So
Ogden's
for
city is what it is.
It's for outdoorsy stuff.
No, it's for losers. It sucks. It has a great pizza place though.
The pizza place is awesome.
I wish it's like the pizza place there is like I would call it like the embassy of a good time. It's like if you want a good time, you go to the Good Time Embassy.
Yeah,
and that is the
I
pizza
told
place.
people the other day I was in a group and I told them about the best pizza I'd ever had was in a crap town called Ogden, Utah.
All those Utah guys are gonna come after you now.
Everyone there was like, yeah, this place sucks.
There's an Air Force base there, Hill Air Force Base.
Yeah.
that I wanted to get. Elizabeth has family in
We
Salt
saw
Lake.
jets flying around.
So
when
we
were
tried to
there.
get stationed at Hill, and they're like, "You do not want to be stationed at Hill because there's nothing like you gotta drive to Salt Lake for life." I'm like,
Salt Lake.
There was
so
nothing
I never
to
did
do.
get Ogden. So
I mean, there was a sick chiropractor's office that doubled as an escape room. That was fun.
Oh, really?
It didn't actually, but it looked like it.
All right,
okay.
Reg die. Here we go.
I think that means that you die.
doesn't count.
It doesn't count? Okay.
Who was it? Just for funsies.
I don't know. I can't see. There's a box in the way.
Sick episode.
It's in the shade. It's in the shade, so I can't really see.
Anyway, so it made a huge difference.
I'll give you a little barrier here.
Brad.
Brad. Oh, Brad.
Okay. Welcome back, Brad.
That's a new person for a while here. Hunter.
Hunter,
There we
there
go.
you go.
Brad Hunter.
Some balance has been restored.
Yeah,
Brad
there
and
you go.
Hunt. All right.
All right.
Cool.
See you next
We'll
time.
see you guys next week. Please,
I won't,
please,
nor
please,
Jason.
please leave comments of what you would love to hear us talk about, guys. Just give it a shot. Just give us a shot. Give us a chance.
Or is there a chance we won't because y'all are moving next week?
I'm not going to be on next week. JK.
Oh yeah.
You guys can comment
So
whatever
actually,
you
it might
want.
be me. It might be me, Hunter, and Brad, because Konner is going to be outie of townie,
I'm in the Outer Banks.
and we are going to be in a new place probably by the time I don't know. Maybe. Who knows what's going to happen
We'll
next
find out.
week?
Gosh, somebody's going to have to set up this set.
Stay tuned.